I'm Oleg Novak, this is Chasing Cars, and here with me is the latest small electric SUV to join the Australian market. It is the Zeekr X. Now, it is a Chinese small electric EV, so you might be thinking this is going to be a new rival to the brands like MG and BYD. But if you think that, think again, because this brand is going for a bit more of a premium positioning. So today, Zeekr has announced when this vehicle is going to be coming to Australia. Not only that, they've detailed the lineup, key specification details, and they've confirmed how much they're going to price this vehicle at. So today, we're going to take a look around outside, inside, going to tell you how much you can expect to pay and tell you all things about Zeekr X and just what this brand aims to do in Australia. So before we do all of that, make sure you hit like and subscribe and join us on our journey to 200,000 subscribers. Chasing Cars, honest reviews of your next car.
Brought to you by
Budget Direct.
So before we chat about the Zeekr X, let's just chat about Zeekr for a moment here. So what exactly is Zeekr? It's another brand that's joining the Australian market, so you might be struggling to keep up. But Zeekr is essentially an electric vehicle manufacturer, Chinese, that was formed in 2021. Now it is part of the Geely Automotive Group, so that is a Chinese automotive giant. Now Geely also owns brands you might be familiar with, so that includes Volvo, Lotus, Polestar, and they also co-own Smart with Mercedes. So it is a big car maker. Now Zeekr is fast expanding. It's been expanding around the world. It's now coming to Australia. They've already got several models overseas. So the first one to come here will be the Zeekr X. They've also got a Zeekr 009 luxury people mover that will be coming later in the year too. Now, given that the automotive group Geely owns a lot of other car brands like Lotus, Polestar, and Volvo, this vehicle that is with us here today also shares a lot of underpinnings with some of those cars that we will chat through today as well. Also, a fun fact, what does Zeekr actually mean? Well, today the Zeekr brand told us that ZE stands for zero, E stands for evolving electric era, and KR stands for krypton, the rare gas that emits light when electrified. So let's chat all things Zeekr X. So first of all, in terms of the platform, this vehicle sits on the SEA2 platform, which is shared with vehicles like the Volvo EX30. So that is a sibling vehicle to this car, and you'll notice a lot of the outputs are exactly the same. Now, in terms of lineup, Zeekr has today announced that there's going to be 2 grades for Australia and 2 powertrain options. So essentially, there's going to be a rear-wheel drive single motor variant and also a dual motor all-wheel drive variant for Australia. Now, we've got the all-wheel drive variant with us here today, so we'll chat through stats about that in one moment. But in terms of the rear-wheel drive variant, you can expect outputs of 200 kilowatts and 343 newton meters of torque for that variant. That's going to get from 0 to 100 in about 5.6 seconds. Now, in terms of the all-wheel drive dual motor variant, that's got 315 kilowatts, 543 newton meters of torque, and it's going to get from 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds. Now, in terms of range, so we don't have WLTP figures for Australian specification, but in Europe, it's rated at about 450 kilometers of WLTP range for the lower spec variant, and about 425 kilometers for the higher spec variant. So you can expect around that mid 400s or slightly lower mark in Australia in terms of WLTP range. Now, in terms of the battery pack that comes with the vehicle, so it's got a 66 kilowatt hour gross battery pack. That doesn't change depending on whether you go for the rear wheel drive or the all wheel drive motor. They both have the same one. So now let's start checking out the design of the vehicle. Being Zeekr, it's positioning itself slightly more premium, so they do like to talk about how they are a more design focused brand. So at the front, you'll notice the Zeekr logo, which you'll probably start to see much more on Australian roads when it is released from the end of the year. In terms of the front design, it's quite a striking looking design in my eyes, at least. Let us know in the comments down below what you think, but you've got some hidden headlights over here which are blacked out entirely during the day when they're not on, so that's a cool little design feature. So if we start to move around here to the back, you'll see that the all-wheel drive variant here with us today, it's got 20-inch wheels. So if you were to get the rear-wheel drive variant, you'd be getting 19-inch wheels with that one. Along the side here, you've got some frameless side mirrors that are mounted on the door. You've also got another feature over here, which is an intelligent B-pillar. It shows information like the status of the vehicle in terms of whether it's locked or unlocked, and also what the state of charge is, as well as other information there as well. And you'll also notice that all vehicles, no matter what grade you get, come with a blacked out roof part over here as well. Not only that, but this is actually a panoramic roof here. So all vehicles come standard with the panoramic glass roof too. Now, if we continue to move along the side, you'll notice they've got some cool streamlined door handles over here, which are nicely integrated into the vehicle. Then you've got the electric charger port over here, so you can connect your cables like so. And then if we continue to move along to the back, you've got some full length LED rear lights which stretch around the car over here. It's actually quite cool, you've got two different glass sections. So this black part over here, you might not be able to see on camera, but that is a glass element over here as well. And then you've obviously got another glass element here too. You've got a little X logo here. And of course, I'm a bit of a fan of this nice Zeekr kind of look here. That's 3D, it's kind of cool. I haven't seen a car logo in that kind of effect before, so that's quite a cool element as well. All right, let's check out the interior of the Zeekr X. All right, let's check out the interior of the Zeekr X. So one thing that I didn't mention when I was doing the walk around just then is if we open the doors, and you've got cool little kind of button press door openers over here, is that given this is a bit of more of a design focused brand, at least that's what the brand is saying, they've actually got their design studios headquartered in Gothenburg in Sweden. So there is a little plaque over here that says designed in Gothenburg, Sweden, to remind you of this vehicle's roots in terms of its design, at least, because it is built in China. But if we check out the interior, what are my first initial impressions? Well, it's a pretty nice cabin to be in. So there's lots of different color options that you can go with for the inside of the vehicle. Now, in terms of the driving position, you've got electric seats over here, which I can adjust to get into my own driving position like so. You've got a nice kind of squircular steering wheel, which is kind of cool. You've got some knobs and buttons here on the side. You've got a gear selector, which is column mounted here on the side. And then you've got a dual screen approach. So you've got a digital instrument cluster here in front of you, and obviously this screen here as well, which is quite large. It seems pretty responsive. It is important to note this is a prototype, one of the final pre-production prototypes that we were in today. So it might not be exactly like the final specs you see in showrooms, but from what I was interacting with earlier with the other vehicles, it seemed to work pretty well. It seemed to be pretty fast, pretty responsive. There's a lot of different functionality that you can work through to control lots of different elements like the climate control, etc., etc. Otherwise, it is a pretty buttonless interior. So you've got a little section over here that has a few USB-C connections. You've got a little pouch over here where you can store items too. So that's quite good. You've got a cup holder and a little storage section over here. We can remove the cup holder like so if you want to free up a bit more space, but I'll put that back in for now. And you can actually close this. So it's got this nice little roller cover that kind of rolls and bends around. So that's a nice little feature over there. There's a pouch over here where you can slot in your phone to charge wirelessly. And over here, we've got a little cubby. Now, this one actually has a little refrigerated section. So I've been told that it's not confirmed if we will get the refrigerated section for Australia. That would be an option if so, but it's not confirmed that it is coming to Australia, although I understand it's likely. But otherwise that would just be a little storage cubby over here. So it's good there's quite a bit of storage over here because the vehicle doesn't actually have a glove box. So I'm told that's for packaging reasons, and overall it's pretty spacious inside. So you've got these extra elements over here, but no glove box. So that just is something to note. Other than that, the materials all feel quite nice. There's quite a lot of soft touch over here. It feels quite well built and it's quite comfortable as well. The seats feel pretty good too. Visibility is quite nice. You've got a Yamaha stereo as well, a big Yamaha logo there. You can see some speakers over here. There is also a big head-up display as well, which I have not used yet, but I'm told that we've got that. So that's a cool feature too. Other than that, you've got some cool little controls here for the windows too. So overall, in terms of first impressions of the Zeekr X inside, it feels pretty good. The cabin ambience, obviously you can make it lighter or darker depending on your preference with the colors. As I mentioned, the fact that you've got that panoramic glass roof is a nice feature as well, and that is standard too across the range. But let's check out the rear seats. All right, let's check out the rear seats of the Zeekr X. So I've spent a bit of time in another model just as I was waiting to record this video, and I did find that the rear seats, I actually find them really comfortable, potentially a bit more comfortable than the front seats in terms of my back support. Potentially negative, maybe they are a bit short, and in terms of under thigh support, maybe there could be a bit more of that. So maybe that's a bit of a negative, but otherwise seats themselves quite comfortable. Toe room, maybe a bit short there in terms of when you go under the seat, but otherwise knee room is good for me, and also headroom is quite good for me at 183 centimeters tall. Again, the fact you've got the panoramic glass roof, that kind of lightens the vehicle up. But otherwise it's quite nice, and it's good given the vehicle is going for that more premium positioning. So you've still got quite a bit of soft touch over here, maybe a bit of hard plastics over there, but again, you're not really interacting with that part. So the parts you are interacting with, at least they're nice and soft touch, so it doesn't feel like they've cut costs in the back as well. And then in terms of other amenities, you've got some rear air vents over here as well as some cool little hooks over here too, which are quite nice. You've got some USB-C connections. They're not over here, they're actually here underneath the seat. Now this vehicle has this little screen over here, which is actually to control the fridge. So normally that would actually be blank, that wouldn't actually be there, but you do have the rear air vents over here and a USB-C connection under the seat. Then in terms of other elements, you've got a center armrest with 2 cup holders over here. So overall in the back, it's pretty good, but let's check out what the boot space is like and the frunk. All right, let's check out the boot. That is important. It is a small SUV. So we press this little button over here. It's an electric power tailgate. Don't know the literage, but it looks relatively decent. There's maybe a bit of a high or low lip, so we'll obviously wait till we find out the exact literage. You can pop this little section open over here to reveal a bit more space where you can put potentially cables and things like that as well. But given this is an EV, there is another little storage section at the front, so let's check out the front. And then of course, this is the frunk. So look, not massive, but you do have a little frunk there, so you might be able to store, again, cables or something small in there as well. So the big question, how much is this vehicle going to cost? Well, Zeekr has today confirmed that the Zeekr in its 2 grades, it's going to cost you below 60 grand for the rear wheel drive version. That is before on-road costs. Then the dual motor all-wheel drive, that is going to cost below 70 grand for the dual motor, again, before on-road costs. So that's where it's going to sit in market when it comes to Australia, which is going to be from October, where you're going to see this vehicle start to enter to Australian roads. Of course, Zeekr is taking expressions of interest. They're taking deposits, so you can already look to signal your intent and secure one for yourself. Now, in terms of other details that Zeekr has released today, they will be going with a franchise model for their dealer network. So that is being worked through at the moment, but we'll expect more details about that in the coming months. In terms of warranty, you can expect a 5-year unlimited kilometer warranty from the brand, with service intervals at 24 months or every 24,000 kilometers, whichever comes first. And then in terms of that warranty, again with the battery, that will be an 8-year, 160,000 kilometer warranty. So we'll continue to keep you informed as more details come to hand about the Zeekr X. But in the meantime, let us know what you have to think about this small premium electric Chinese SUV. Are you interested? Is it tempting for you? Do you think it will do well in Australia? Make sure to let us know in the comments section down below. But in the meantime, make sure to hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and thank you for watching Chasing Cars.